Dakia, why are you surprised? From jump, you were clear that these two had a connection. She sees what she sees, but still hopes for something else. You're deceiving yourself. Stevie Wonder could see that Joy and Clifton were like this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. LolaAjisafe here. We are reviewing Ready to Love. What is this? Episode 9. The title is called The Getaway Shuffle. Alright, before we start, housekeeping rules, please don't forget to like, and more importantly, let me know what you think. Drop a comment how you feel about this current episode. As we're getting towards the end, how you feel. I'm not seeing much connections. Are you seeing I'm not seeing connections anyway. And if you haven't, you're still checking out with me, you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. All right, so first scene starts. We ended off last episode with the guys couldn't figure themselves out, so they didn't really vote anybody off. But nephew Tommy allowed the guys to get away with not voting any woman off because one, they couldn't agree, and secondly because Ace had already self-eliminated. As we get into the house, I think Clifton's the first one who comes up, followed by, I want to say it was Dakia, then it was Joy. So I'm like, okay, they're being real civil, they're being real respectful, this is going well, like this is good. No. First thing first. All right, so the same thing that happens anytime we put black people in a nice place. We're trying to get back. Forget about it. It's not black people. Anytime we put people in a house, they've been away from home. We're trying to figure out, like, if those rooms are identical, we're trying to get the best room. So Clifton's first one there. So he gets the room he want, and then Joy, she see where he picked and she put her bag on the bed. So now there are two bags on the same bed. So they're trying to tell us that they're gonna share a room, just like what's his name, Joel and Venetia had done 2 seasons prior, I want to say. I don't know if that's a kiss of death, but let's see how this goes. So Dakia sees that, and Sanaa just sucks the air out of her, because her question now is, had they already discussed this prior? Was this an agreement they made that they were going to share bedrooms? And if that's the case, then why does Clifton have her on rotation? And when I think about Joy's side, like if they hadn't prearranged or whatever the case may be, let's think how Joy's thinking. Like, Joy, a chess player, she's not going to be rooting your face. She don't need to be. Like, she play her own game. She's just trying to mark her territory. She can let Dakia like, sis, we cool, but this is mine. Like, you can play around, you can play games if you want to. Because you see how she's going to be like, girl, you see how Common tried to sniff up his drawers? Like, she gone. I don't know, I'm just saying what I think Joe might be thinking, but she's not going to say it. So maybe that was some kind of play or some agreement, I don't know. So as everybody gathers into the house, Uncle Nephew Tommy comes to, he always does that, I think, in the house, just to let them know that one, y'all, it's the established house rules. You're here, you're meant to pick quality connections. Oh, FYI, Tina running late because she's having some car issues. Tina's been MIA of recent. What's going on with her? I don't know. We'll find out. It seems odd that he has to remind them that, focus on quality connections. I think at this time and at this age, that should be what you're looking for. But maybe he has to remind them because as the seasons have continued to evolve, it seems less and less about connections and relationship and more about exposure. What am I coming to the table? For reality TV, generally, that's what makes sense, because you open yourself up to a certain amount of criticism. So you're like, what's the payoff for that? The payoff is, let me, get some boost to my business. But at the same time, the premise of this show really isn't that. So, I mean, if you're doing a regular reality show like, Love and Marriage Huntsville, if you're doing like, one of the Real Housewives episodes, something like that, or, Love and Hip Hop, like you got like 5 minutes to make an impression, then by all means, think about what you're pushing. But if we're talking about a dating show, the real context of the show is dating. Not necessarily, we're not following around what you do at work every day. We're not following around to see what you do with your kids every day. But no, we're trying to see, are you making a connection? Are you making a good, but it's like, I think that's been lost as the seasons have gone by. It seems to be lost on the contestants. So now it's just like, how can I make the biggest bang? So I feel like, Nephew Tommy almost feels the need to continue to remind them why they're here. Like, you telling some 30, 40 something else, you have to remind them to make quality connections. I think it gets into a point where they really need like someone to counsel them, like, do this, don't do this. No, what do you think about this? I think it gets into that point, either in front of us or behind the scenes. So he's telling them about peeling back layers. Like, watch out, when you peel back the layers, you might bring back the tears. Like, honestly, I've seen very little vulnerability from the characters thus far. Like, I think most of us are getting a little worn out. Honestly, I think, let me speak for myself, it gets a little worn out because it's just like, just very mechanical. The only people, like I've said last week, that I think I appear to have somewhat of a connection. And if you compare it to maybe prior earlier seasons, it's an okay connection, but is it as strong as some other connections we had in the past? Probably not. It seems like no one's really been vulnerable, understandably so. People in prior seasons have gotten hurt, they've gotten disappointed, so now you're joining, you know, with a chip on your shoulder, like what you're not going to do is hurt. Like, I get it. So it almost makes it less and less interesting to watch, because I think as viewers, we are drawn to true, real emotions, vulnerability. And so when it just seems to be an act, it's one thing if we're watching fiction, then by all means, you know, fiction away. But if we're meant to be watching reality TV, then we want to see real, authentic emotions. And that's what kind of, you know, brings us in or reels us in. But now we just see, like, you know, appearances, you know, my representative is, and this is what I'm thinking about when I come off the show. There's a little bit of blah to it. So it's like, yeah, you know, they're not peeling back layers. I don't see any layers being peeled back. Even talk about, you know, Clifton and Joy. There was an initial the meeting of minds when they met at when he had almost had a play anaphylactic reaction, when they had some opening when she talked about how she was raised by her father, and there was a touching of minds there. But we haven't had another scene like that between them. It's like there's less and less vulnerability. Look at all the other couples, less and less vulnerability. It's just like, yo, they're just running amok. Like they're just running the cameras, and now they're struggling to put pieces together. My humble opinion. So he just lets them know that during the weekend, either middle of the weekend, by the end of the weekend, one of the men will be eliminated. You already know the two people I have on the chopping block, and one of them need to go. I'm just saying, like, we mentioned it, like, go back to another video. I already told you the two I need to go. In fact, I started the last week's video off with that. Like, they like, you still talking? Bro, you still here? All right, let's see. So we already know it has to be one of the two. Preferably both, but that's okay. I'm being a little too much here. All right, so another scene. So everyone's arrived, and now for some reason, Tori, he decided he want to have a, you know, bro-to-bro conversation with Demetrius. First of all, I'm thinking, like, he talked about, yeah, he was really hurt, or whether he was confused when Sabrina, you know, nibbled on the edge during the truth or dare. I'm thinking, like, so what? I really don't care. Like, that sounds cool. Like, but like, okay, so you're sharing this with Demetrius for what reason? Like, I don't know what you hope to achieve. You're both going for the same lady. Like, I've always said in the past that the guys always seem cool, like they're going for the same lady, but they never have any kind of issue. But Tori wants to have it. He wants to talk about it. Like, yeah. What do you want to talk about? You're interested in her. Demetrius is interested in her. But the best man way, like, may she pick the one she wants the most and hope it works out. That's it. Like, what is there to talk about? But anyway, he feels the need to discuss his emotions. Demetrius is looking at him like, okay. And he goes on to say in his confessional that that he feels like the connection Sabrina has with Demetrius is not stable. I think, bro, you're missing the point. He made mention of how, you know, ever since that kiss, that he's, you know, he decided to give Sabrina a lot of space. You know, bro, what you did was you were sulking like a small child, and that was the space you created. What I told you a couple of episodes ago, I said what you should have done, because we said it's a game, is show her what she's missing and she doesn't choose you, not sulk away in the corner like somebody took one of your rattles. Like, it made no sense. And you're sucking on a pacifier in the corner, and now it's like you're getting to the end of the season, and now you're wondering why you don't have any toys. Now you see Donovan, immediately they get to the house. Donovan pulls Sabrina to the side. Then he like holler at her, like, see what's going on. Now this is what a G should do. Like, you don't talk about it, be about it. Like, let's talk. Where do we stand? Maybe Donovan has that confidence because he knows a lot of women are interested in him, and so he wants to make the best decision for himself. Maybe that's it. He's coming in with confidence, but then I would just say, Tori, take a page from his book, because at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's apparent that there is a game element here. You can't be caught in your feelings, stuck in your feelings, and if you are, and that's how you operate, then maybe this medium's not for you. This medium's not for everyone. We've said this time and time again. This is technically season 6. You know you can't roll like this, then don't do it. I honestly, you know, I've said, and other people who talk about the show said, this is that. It's not something we would willingly like say. Yeah, it's not easy. That we talk about it, we comment on it, you know, we review it, but we're clear that it's not an easy thing to come into. So yeah, Tori, if this is how you're feeling, like you need to talk about your emotions to someone who's also sharing the same interest in the same girl as you, then maybe it's not for you. You might want to self-eliminate before you get eliminated. You know, make it easy. You know, let somebody else stay who actually has some idea of a connection. Sabrina and Donovan start talking, and so Sabrina's concern with Donovan is Donovan, honestly, in my mind, her order is Donovan and then Demetrius. But her concern or misgivings about Donovan are that, you know, Donovan is freshly divorced, and when she has the conversation with him, he's 3 months out. Yo, that's rebound territory. Like he like anything that happened in that short of a time, like you're just a rebound relationship, honestly, because he's still coming out of a whole bunch of like swirl emotions, things that like he hasn't settled in unless he and his ex were separated for an extended period of time and they only decide to make it official, you know, and it's 3 months out of an official divorce. But if they just literally just separated the house and separated everything and the divorce was final, just to like, yeah. So I get Sabrina's misgivings, but another thing Sabrina needs to keep in mind, because I don't know if they've had that conversation or they didn't just televise that conversation, is also that Donovan has 2 children, and you ask Donovan, Donovan's good. Like, he'd rather be with someone who he'd rather not have anymore. Yes, he's open to have one more, but he said he would consider it, were his words. I think that's something she really needs to hone in. That consider is not set in stone. They may get together and he'll talk about, well, you know, I did tell you. I don't think another one of the I advertised them last week as the backups. You know, I talked about Takia, Paul, and Carmen. So 2 or 3 of the backups, I should put Tori's picture in that too, but I didn't feel the need to. Carmen's talking to Paul, and you know, I guess she's trying to feel him out. She knows that she's doing the backup, but she's trying to see where she is with him, and she's doing all that like her Carmen magic. You know, I'm trying to bring him in. And while she's doing all that, he looked like he's musing on the fact that Tina isn't here yet. Tina's Paul's top choice, but Tina don't have time for him anymore. So now Paul is scrambling, because Paul thought he had hit the jackpot once he had got Tina's interest. But Tina's not feeling him no more. I guess it sounds like that. Anyway, you know, Paul says, and for the first time I agree with one of Paul's Paulisms. He talk about, yeah, if he doesn't feel a connection, then he's going to disconnect. Like, it sounds weird, but it's true. Like, if he's saying, and that's what I've said in the past, like, there's no real connection. Don't stay just to be televised. Bid us adios and move on. I don't know who Donovan was talking with. He was talking with someone talking about, you know, the way the 2 top people for him were Sabrina, of course, is his first choice, and then now he has Carmen as a runner-up because Tina's missing, and he's saying he just wants to see how the weekend will play out, and that will determine who he'll make his top. We'll see how this goes, but like I said, there's no real connections, honestly. Like, I do believe he likes Sabrina, but there's too much going on. Maybe Donovan is even too soon out of a serious relationship to be in this kind of thing. So I don't even know, when did he sign up for the thing? When was his divorce finalized? That just seems so close, because I'll give Sabrina credit. She's thinking clearly. Like, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to pair up with somebody that before they film the reunion they're broken up, or right after the reunion they're broken up, because it's true. Like, he's in rebound territory, particularly for a man. He's got kids, so he's not in a hurry to get back into a committed relationship. Real talk. So why is he on the show? It's not. I'm sorry. Like, unless he's been separated for 5-8 years, and you know he's sold his wild oats, and he's like, okay, I think I want something serious, then he shouldn't be here trying to get some poor girl all in her emotions, and then she realized 6 months in that like he was just here to play because he's freshly out of divorce. Anyway, Carmen and Donovan get talking, and you know, once again, for some reason, like I said, Carmen gives the air of being confident, but there is some insecurity. They will all walk around insecurities, but she particularly her insecurities show for me more on camera, because she has a tendency to always want to push someone down, put someone to the side, bring another party up, as opposed to just focusing on her and the person she's communicating with. She's always asking about the other person. So she sits down with Donovan and she's asking about his connections. Sis, forget about his connections, focus on what's going on with us. Like, do that. You know, then she brings up Sabrina. At least she wasn't so disrespectful to Sabrina, so I'm still wondering what kind of beef she has with Takia. But she did give, you know, Sabrina some compliment. They get to, I think, their first dinner for the day. Everyone gathers around. Tina's still not here. And then Sabrina's now sitting with Demetrius to have a conversation. She said something key, like, you know, I want to sit next to you because I'm not sure, and just to make sure you still like me. Something to that effect. And I think she was more or less kind of joking around, maybe trying to appease him because maybe she hadn't spent some time with him during the day. But I think, you know, Demetrius being the serious person he is, he's throwing it back like, you're my top connection. What do you mean, do I still like you? But I think she's just trying to, you know, because she understands that she's not going to pick one person right now. And she shouldn't be made to. So she's trying to, you know, butter both sides. She knows Donovan understands the game. Donovan isn't stressing. But Demetrius, who seems to be more intense, like he's already spinning in his wheels. Like, what? She's like, sir, okay, let's talk about it later. That Demetrius is a little bit serious. Maybe this medium's not for him too, because he's a little too serious. And the other connection he had is Tina. Tina been missing, so like he left with one. And that's the thing with this game concept. So everyone's worried about their placement less than the real relationship connection. Like, okay, oh, my other connection's gone. So what does that mean on the show? As opposed to like, okay, for that person, it's like, in real life, if you don't have a real connection with someone, your thing really is like, if it's not working, then it's not working, and be done with it. Not just to hang around, to just hang around for hanging around's sake. And that's how you get these weak relationships that, you know, sometimes don't even make it to the reunion, or right after the reunion they break up. So it's just like, this concept of the game thing is not working. And I think there's something, you know, Sabrina said in her confessional. She was talking about how she felt that she hadn't gone out of her comfort zone to show her interest in Demetrius, but Demetrius hadn't really done the same for her. I kind of agree with her, because it took Demetrius what, 4 episodes before he stepped to Sabrina, you know, put her on notice that he liked her. And who else has he done that to? Real talk. Like he has not come out of his comfort zone for anyone, I don't think. Like the whole reason why Tori's all stuck up and you know, all twisted up is because he didn't step to Sabrina on time. And Sabrina, of course, she knows she's on a game show, so she's solidifying connection. So that's why Tori felt he had her, but he didn't. Just that, you know, Demetrius hadn't stepped to her yet. So it's true. So really, you know, she's, you know, Sabrina goes with that. She's with the D&D, but really, there's shaky things about both Ds, and not just like light, superficial, concerning things. Because when the lights are gone, when the cameras are gone, how is Demetrius going to really be with her? After dinner, finally, Tori and Sabrina get to sit down and get to talk. You and I already know that this was done. She's been trying to be sweet with him, so she let him know in a real sweet, kind way, like, yo, bruh. Like, even before they started talking, there's like this real awkward energy. And it's either that Tori can't read the room, or in his mind, if he pretends that it's not there, it means it's not real. But it's real. You can pretend if you want to. But Sabrina finally let him know, bruh, like, I see you as a friend. And I hope the lesson here to learn is that I feel like he had so she may have had some interest in him before. I knew he wasn't her favorite, but just the childish energy he had really, I feel like, completely put her off. So she was just like, she just felt like she felt no need to carry on this dead weight. Because on one hand, he's saying he likes her and he's sulking, but he's making no moves to, you know, the last time they had that, you know, meet the homie kind of meeting with Ash, kept talking about how, yeah, she's indecisive. She just showed you that she's decisive right now. How you like that? How you like me now? Because you've been bad. Like, it's like, dude, self-eliminate. Like, you were bad mouthing her last week, but you're still hanging on, and then now you sitting there like you shouldn't even be surprised that she put you in the friend category, because like no one wants to be subjected to the kind of behavior. It's not cute. It's not cute. That you should have carried yourself with some more. I mean, you can't be what you're not. That's the truth. So I guess you didn't have it to give. All right, so, you know, next morning comes. Clifton said, waking up to joy was like waking up on Christmas morning. Yo, for those of us that love Christmas, that's a serious compliment. Because even as an adult, waking up on Christmas morning is magical. So he literally said that waking up to joy is magical. What? It's cold outside. You're waking up. There's presents under the tree. There's going to be delicious food. Everyone. Christmas for me is still like how Christmas was when I was a kid. And I'm not even getting any presents. I'm giving presents, but it's just like Christmas is magical. So if he really means that about Christmas, does high praise joy, because Christmas is. I'm a Christmas baby. I love Christmas. So when he said that, he got me thinking. I see Christmas trees. I see elves. And he said waking up to her is like that. Like that's I'll just here, right with me here. If someone tell me that waking up to me is like waking up on Christmas morning, That's more magical than saying, oh, you're beautiful and oh, you're smart. What? Because those are words. But that whole waking up like it's Christmas morning is a whole vibe that you can't put into one word. I don't know, that just meant something to me, like, that sounds real, like, you know, let he just blowing smoke on my ass. Yeah. Another part of it, we see, of course, Sabrina goes to meet up with her girl, Dakia, like Dakia feeling, you know, Ben, she out of shape because, you know, Clifton hasn't made any time for her, and she's like kind of hurt that these people sharing a room, so what's she here for? And I like to say that, you know what, Dakia, why are you surprised? From jump, you were clear that these two had a connection. And I think this is synonymous with when, you know, a woman would see something in a man and she sees what she sees, but still hopes for something else. You're deceiving yourself. You might need a minute to get your mind ready to assimilate the information and accept it. But for you to be sitting here disappointed, like, what did you expect? Yeah, he said something to pacify. Oh, we had a connection, sis. And Stevie Wonder could see that Joe and Clifton were like this. Like, you know, even the cool plotter Carmen saw that, and she scattered what, like 3 or 4 episodes ago, when Carmen saw that. What did we say earlier? And Carmen, the game player, she saw that after that kiss at the barbecue. Carmen was done. She scrapped out of town. He was no longer on her list anymore. Right after that, that's how you play. That's how you have to be that realistic in real life too. Like, he's mooning after someone, you're hoping that maybe he's gonna be over her, or maybe you can come. Now, if it doesn't look like there's way, then there's no way. And so I'm not sure what the kid was holding on to, because it's not like she knew, but she was hoping. You know, with things like this where emotions can get tied up, like, don't sit there hoping. Make clear, decisive decisions. This guy is into I mean, you could hope. So that's what happens to us in real life as women when we get disappointed. It's not like we didn't know, but we're hoping. And 9 out of 10 times that hoping leads you to nowhere. Because Paul is feeling that same way. His number one, Tina, is nowhere to be seen. So he's trying to nurse up his backup. You know, so he and Dakia meet up, waterfront, they're talking. People, this is episode 9. I'm sorry, which kind of connection are you going to solidify? But surprise me, please surprise me. But right now, y'all are just playing. You're both just trying to stay on the show. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. It's like, you know, Paul know, like, you know, an elimination is coming up. He know that I mentioned his name last week. So he just trying to see, you know, try and give himself a reason to not be the one to be sent home. That's how I feel. I'm not saying he doesn't think the key is interesting or anything, but we typically as humans go to what interests us really, primarily first. We go for self. We're designed to go for self. And so he's gone to the ones he was interested in. The key at at what end of this episode, when you 7, 8, 9, now you're trying to talk with her. She wasn't an initial interest. She's a secondary interest. And if any of your primary interests were to come back or show an interest, you won't pay any attention to her. So that means you're not really interested in her. Now you're just trying to play a game and stay on the show. I'm sorry, that's how it looks to me. It's already time for deliberation. We've gone after the first night during the day. Nephew Tommy pulls the ladies away. They're at the table, you know, okay, so, you know, everyone's beginning to explain their position. Sabrina, of course, talks about the 2Ds, Donovan and Demetrius, and she says something key here. It's like what she really likes about Donovan is what, not only do they have something in common in terms of, you know, the Cali connection, but also he was the aggressor. He went to approach her. He made his interest known very early on, unlike Demetrius, who sat down, started doing calculations and math equations before he approached her. And that's, I'm just saying, that's key. Just in her mind, it's like, yo, if they're being attacked, is Demetrius going to sit down there and think for 10 minutes before he responds, or is he just going to respond? And sometimes, true to life, how people approach you and how they react is really how they are. Like, looked like Donovan saw what he wanted, went for it. Demetrius had to sit down and meditate and think about it, like he was thinking too much. It's a dating show, and really hasn't. Yeah, and it's not a bad thing that he hasn't moved around, but who are his other interests? Why does he have such a slow, or does he not really like anyone, decide to make do? But anyway, she's, you know, that's why she says D&D. But I think in my mind, when I looked at her talking about in the confessional, the fact that Donovan was the aggressor and was forthright and really made his interest known. I like you. I'm interested in you. That's what's put Donovan over Demetrius. Of course, Joy, no question here. We know who she's interested in. We know it's Clifton. Dakia now is talking about Paul and Tori. Those are two very weak backups. Not even solid backups, but weak backups. But yeah, she put it there. And then, you know, Carmen talk about Donovan. Donovan and Paul. Anyway, they come up with, their bottom two. It turns out that their bottom two, are Tori and Paul. And so Sabrina is going to be the one to send them home. They should give us like a surprise and send two people. In your mind, in your opinion, who do you think is going to get sent home? I see it to be Tori, because Paul still have a leg up above Tori. A leg up. But who knows? Like, they've done so many surprise eliminations. I feel like they sent some people home that they shouldn't have sent. I'm still like, I don't feel they should have sent Laverne home. I don't know. That's how I just feel about it. Like, Laverne should not have been the one to go home. And if anyone meant to go home, it shouldn't have been Laverne. But yeah, this season's kind of a little blah, to be quite frank with you. Like, and it's just because there are no connections. We watch these shows to see connections. Like, if you guys watch Bridgerton season 2, like, when there are connections and chemistry, you get drawn in. Nothing. Like, I'm just watching like a football match. Nothing. But guys, look at, we already reached the end. They didn't tell us who, so it's like to be continued. So let's see. To be continued it is. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, Lola. Over and out.